John Wick's footsteps echo in the marble halls, each tap a measured beat in a symphony of strategy and steel. He doesn't enter with a roar. He glides in on a current of silent intent, his mind already 3 moves ahead of the men who think they're waiting for him. Knowledge builds empires, and with every step, Wick claims another brick in the empire of his own making. A fortress constructed in silence, reinforced by brain hacks that make him 50% smarter and infinitely more dangerous. He studies the room as though it were a board of chess pieces. The flicker of a guard's eye, the tension in a trigger finger, the weight shift in a boot. These details are his lifeblood. They are data points in his cognitive edge conditioning, the system that transforms pressure into power and panic into precision. He wasn't born this way. Once, John Wick was just a man haunted by love and loss, striking back at ghosts with nothing but fury in his veins. But fury alone is fleeting. Intelligence endures. So he became a student of tension. When the world offered him comfort, a legal life, a simple marriage, he refused its lull. Comfort is the mind's enemy, he learned. You sharpen steel by striking it against stone. You sharpen the mind by striking it against danger. In every alley fight, every back alley deal, Wick carved a crucible of discomfort. He sought challenges that forced his brain into survival mode, where mistakes meant death and second chances never came. And in that furnace, his thoughts became weapons. It started with debate. One night, cornered by an assassin who spoke more in riddles than threats, Wick listened. He weighed every word, every syllable, until he saw the man's false confidence. He dismantled that confidence with questions sharper than bullets. What happens next? How will you move when the light goes out? When he finally struck, it was not rage, but reason that guided his hand. That is cognitive tension, forcing your mind into the jaws of failure so it adapts, learns, and becomes lethal. From there, he mastered predictive thinking. In one legendary encounter, he burst through a door into a hall of targets. Their rifles swept toward him like metal thunderstorms, but Wick had already calculated their angles, tested their trigger pulls, and predicted their flinches. He sidestepped, disarmed, and struck in a fluid ballet of anticipation. As they collapsed, bewildered, he stood untouched, the embodiment of foresight. He had practiced this skill in quieter moments, watching people, noticing how fear bends the spine and how confidence straightens it, cataloging micro-expressions like an assassin's field guide. He asked himself constantly, what will happen next, and how can I shape it? Soon, he wasn't just reacting. He was sculpting reality. But even predictive thinking can be wound tight and brittle if the mind lacks agility. So Wick trained himself to pivot. He approached chaotic situations like puzzles with shifting rules, an ambush where grenades replace bullets, a betrayal where allies become predators. He taught his mind to see Plan A collapse into Plan B, to flow into Plan C without a pause. In the Continental's gilded corridors and in flooded subways, he thrived on unpredictability. He reloaded broken firearms with broken glass, improvised weapons from shattered chandeliers, and used the fragmentation of his world as the means to rebuild it. That is mental agility. The power to shift strategies mid-strike, to laugh at the very concept of a single path to victory. This unpredictability became his cloak. Enemies never knew where he would strike or when. He left false trails, whispers of his path, footprints that led away from the real battleground, and watched assassins chase shadows while he dismantled their plans. He concealed his true intentions behind deliberate distractions. A well-placed gunshot here, a staged rescue there, and when he unleashed his real move, it was like thunder bursting from blue sky. No one saw it coming until it was already done. Yet intelligence is more than cold calculation. In the tumult of violence, John Wick remained attuned to emotion. He pried micro-expressions from his adversaries as easily as he pried doors open with his fists. He could sense the quiver of guilt, the tremor of fear, the gleam of desperation. He exploited these vulnerabilities not because he was cruel, but because he understood that controlling emotion is the final frontier of strategic dominance. A trembling gun hand misses more bullets. A heart pounding with panic blurs vision. Wick weaponized this truth, turning the battlefield into a stage where he played both actor and director, orchestrating fear to disable his foes. So when you stand at life's crossroads, when comfort beckons you with its hollow promise, when fear snarls at your courage, when uncertainty clouds your vision, remember John Wick. Remember the man who silenced the world with the cold clarity of his mind. He didn't shout his creed, he lived it. Work hard in silence, shock them with your success. In his silence, he built an empire of intellect. With each strike, he rewrote the rules of power. Today, the battlefield may be an office, a courtroom, a boardroom, but the principles remain. Seek discomfort, forge tension, anticipate the next move, pivot without pause, hide your true aim, read emotion, reflect relentlessly, and above all, work in silence. While they talk, train. While they rest, rise. And when the moment comes, strike with the inevitability of razor-sharp strategy. Let your success be the thunderclap that shakes their certainty. Because in the end, empires aren't built on noise, they're built on knowledge. And when the world wakes to the echo of your triumph, they will finally see what you built in silence. and know they were outmatched not by force, but by a mind that refused to be average. And there, in the stunned hush, you will stand, inevitable, unstoppable, untouchable, John Wick incarnate, the living testament that the deadliest weapon is not the gun in your hand, but the razor in your mind.